Well, I'll just say, and we'll probably leave the concept of the EDPA in the dust here because that's a backdrop to the real day-to-day problems that all of us as business owners have. But I will say my role as a vice president on the Experiential Designers and Producers Association is I currently hold the role of steward to the initiatives around future leader and future workforce. Okay. So, and really, it's such a huge and complex issue. I want to use the word steward. I am not the committee chair of this thing. I'm a steward of the conversation that is so complex. And we're going to talk about it today. But there's no way, there's just no way to simplify it. There is no way to just simply come up with best practices, but there are jewels. I mean, just in Chris and I's, in our conversations on a day, well, I'll say we talk every other day, but some weeks, is that there are jewels in what we're doing, and there are victories in the way that we're processing the people in the industry or what we think the industry needs and how we're going to go about it. But this is like one of my favorite subjects right now. My career has come full circle to the point where people are the most important component of every single organization, unless you're a robotics company, although you need those people too. So what is the first question we're going to have under this huge topic is what I was trying to.
Well, by the way, Khalil, did it sound like he was running away from accountability a little? I'm not really the guy in charge of it. But the truth is, right, there's no quick, simple answer. And just to frame a couple of sound bites, Khalil, for our listeners, the average age of the worker on the trade show floor is 58 years old. I mean, just think about that and the need to repopulate. And that was before pandemic. So we lost a lot of early retirees that are really high-level skilled tradesmen so there's a gap there. The second challenge we have is we have found out through experience and polls and surveys, the average young person under 27, 28 years old, 95% of them have never heard of our industry as a real, genuine opportunity. Mm-hmm. So, the challenge is to tell our story and about this wonderful sector that Michael and I are so passionate about to fill, to attract, both audiences. We have a tremendous need on the show floor, and then creative and project management and the front office jobs. It's still a huge need there. So what's the first question asked? Michael, you were about 6 or 8 months ahead of me on how you were reopening, and you chose to focus on hiring people not from our industry, right? Not with those traditional skill sets. You had agency people, you had great hospitality, customer service skills people. You had no hesitation to bring in good critical thinkers, but not from the industry. One question is, how's that working out 8 months later?
This is a great question, and the answer is situational, right? So where we were is in a position of not knowing, right? And I remember in our industry specifically, we had gone through about 8 months of companies wanting to survive and pivoting their offering in order to create some sort of safe harbor for their organizations in a storm. And then we can talk about the help that we got from our federal government, that sort of thing. But when I finally decided that I was going to see what and where we were going, because I'm really not an innovator, I believe that I have a very strong offering in the marketplace. And I had decided after about 7 or 8 months of what we had gone through that I can see it. And the picture for me is our offering in the marketplace is still very valid. We're going to go into a time of volatility, and the concierge approach to dealing with customers is going to be in greater need than it was just 12 months ago, because there are going to be so many unknowns. There are going to be so many people who are lost in their roles. There are going to be people doing things they've never done before because there was the great human capital shuffle. So to Chris's point, I made a decision to ramp up and bring people back ahead of the curve, because my business is not scalable without actual bodies and people that have aptitude in the roles that they're in. So we had to very quickly find out who's coming back. And the sad news was 1 out of every 2 employees I had chose not to come back. Not to come back to Hill and Partners, not to come back to this industry, because it became an employee-driven market, and you could go out with a resume and sell yourself and transform your life. Great volatile opportunity for people that wanted to transition in their careers, make changes. I have some great people who used to work here who have some really great jobs, and I'm happy for them. But what that left with us is this model and this idea of how our company must be to bounce back